Hey, beautiful people. Today we're here to talk about how to improve innovation capacity in an organization. I want to talk about how to build sustainable innovation capacity across teams and the role of leadership in fostering innovation, the role of you as a leader in fostering innovation. And I want to introduce you to some practical frameworks as you build your innovation capacity both for yourself and your team. Let's look at why most innovation initiatives fail to actually create long-term change. There's an unexpected connection between daily practice and breakthrough innovation. I want to introduce you to that. And also let's talk about how top organizations build innovation into their DNA. By the end of the video, I want you as a leader to be able to understand how to build your own innovation practices and also how to build innovation capacity across your team. When leaders think about innovation, they tend to think about it as something that they should be managing, which is super unfortunate because innovation is actually something that is really an emergent practice in an organization. And here's why I say that is when we talk about innovation just in general, we tend to think of it as genius ideas that other people come up with. And mostly it's other people who come up with them. And what we're doing in that instance is we're putting ourselves in a position where we have to hire innovation superstars in order to be able to make innovation work. I don't agree with that at all. I don't think that that is a powerful practice for organizations. I don't think that sticking a bunch of geniuses in an ivory tower is a really valuable way of bringing innovation into your organization. And the reason why I say that is there's a fundamental difference in or maybe disagreement in understanding between people who work in the innovation space. And I've had the absolute privilege of working with some of the world's leading and most innovative companies and helping them build their innovation capacity. So I've had a really good look into R&D organizations and into product development organizations, and I've got a good understanding, I think, at this point as to how it is that innovation works and thrives inside an organization. When we think of it as a group of smart people in an ivory tower, we're setting ourselves up to actually minimize the innovation capacity of the rest of the organization. And we're also setting ourselves up to have a whole bunch of people in an ivory tower who are disconnected from the rest of the organization and therefore from the customer base. If instead we start thinking of innovation as a practice, we'll start thinking of innovation as something that anyone who practices enough can actually contribute an enormous amount of value to innovation inside our organization. So the reason why that I say innovation is a practice is it opens a whole lot more doors for us to build capacity, and it opens a lot more doors for us to be able to build value. And it also allows us to be able to discover the people who are truly committed to bringing innovation to their workplace, to their team, and the people who have truly unique and innovative perspectives on life that we wouldn't otherwise recognize. So think of innovation as a practice, think of it this way. You do lots of practices in your life. If you play a sport, if you exercise, if you drive a car, if you bake, if you garden, if you do any of those things that require repetitive practice, you already have a really good understanding of what practice is. So let's take the example of driving a car. Driving a car is a practice that any of us who've been driving for more than a couple of years don't really think about anymore. We certainly think of where we want to go to, and we certainly think when someone else does something crazy on the road. But for the most part, we're operating almost on autopilot when we think about how it is that we're actually driving. When you start thinking about building innovation capacity, that analogy is really powerful for you because it puts you in a position where you start saying innovation is a practice. Now, if I'm going to start building innovation into my organization, what is the beginning practice that I need to start really deeply cultivating in a way that allows me to be able to bubble up innovation through the whole organization? One of the practices that I have found to be incredibly effective and powerful is the practice of actually making offers. People at all levels of the organization can actually be invited to make offers. And I don't say trained to make offers because we are all capable of making offers to each other. Now, some of us are better than others, some of us are more practiced at it, some of us have better checklists for helping us build powerful offers. But what we want to do is we want to be able to open the door for people to be able to make offers based on what it is they see is possible. And the more people that we can have doing that, the more opportunity we're going to have for something truly new and innovative and breakthrough to happen inside our company. So think about yourself when you started driving. The first thing you did was you got into the car and you went through the whole process of whoever was teaching you how to drive, of adjusting the mirrors, adjusting the seat, making sure your seatbelt was on, making sure you were in park, doing all those important things. I know an awful lot about this at the moment because I'm teaching my daughter how to drive. But what you do is when you start doing that, what you're doing is you're teaching someone a new practice. Now, you have to make the clear distinctions around the practice that you're teaching them. And it might take them 3 months, 6 months, 12 months to really be competent and have it as an embodied practice, depending on what other stuff they have going on in their lives. So when you start thinking about building a practice of innovation, you've literally got to start thinking about what are the simple, basic distinctions I want to instill in my organization in a way that will allow me to be able to bring people's unique perspectives, interpretations, and value to the table in a way that will allow us to be able to innovate. So step number 1 is making offers. As you think about people making offers, remember that most organizations are not set up for people to make offers. Most organizations are set up top down for us to drill down OKRs and KPIs on top of the poor unfortunates who happen to work for us. And what we do with that is we tell people what to do all the time. We assign tasks, we delegate work, we track tasks, we make sure that people are delivering on the work that we have delegated to them. I'm not saying that that isn't necessary, but I am saying that it's a lot less necessary than we think it is. If we can flip the script, so to speak, and we can create a situation where people are actually invited to make offers, we are starting the innovation engine inside our organization. Now, before you do that, I really recommend you start with yourself. So the best place to start is usually with yourself when you're trying to make a behavior shift or a change happen inside a company, inside a team. And the way to do that is to begin to think about, is there a powerful offer that I could make to my boss, that I could make to one of my boss's peers, that I could make to one of my own peers, that would actually allow for an improvement to happen in the way that we do work, add value, deliver work, operate together. And the reason why I'm saying an improvement versus an innovation is when you start thinking about building innovation capacity inside your organization, and you start thinking about building it for yourself, recognize that the practices around improvement and the practices around innovation are actually very similar. And what you're looking to do is you're looking to move through that process, get people to start just doing small improvements, realize that they are building a muscle that allows them to start making powerful offers, and allow for the fact that those powerful offers are ultimately going to bubble up into tremendous innovation opportunities over time. So as you start thinking about this, identify what is a powerful offer that you could make. And by a powerful offer, I mean something that you are going to deliver on and perform. You're obviously using your team to help you do that. You're making it to an internal person who you have designated as your customer. You are committed to delivering satisfaction and value for them. You go to them and you say, I would like to offer to do X. I think that it will improve the way that your group and my group collaborate together. I think that it would also help us in terms of our ability to be able to think and innovate together. Here's the offer that I'd like to make. It's a small project. I think we can deliver it over a 3-month time frame. I think it'll require that we do a certain amount of collaboration with person X and person Y on your team. I think that these are the metrics that would be valuable for us to determine whether or not this work is producing real results that help us. Are these metrics valuable for you? Here are the standards I want us to be able to reach as we do this. Are these standards in alignment with what you're looking to do? And what you're doing is you're having a conversation for design with that person, and you're designing an offer that you're going to agree and commit to making to deliver value for them. They're committing to cooperate and work with you on the delivery of that value. And what you're doing is That is the seed or the kernel of the ability to be able to build innovation capacity. Once you've done one of those, your next offer can be something more innovative and something more powerful and something less related to just pure improvement. You've now got more insights into how they work. You've worked with some of their people. You've got more insights into how they think and what they measure and what they consider to be important. You're now positioning yourself in a place where you can actually add more value next time around. You could even invite them to make an offer to you now that they've got a better insight into how it is that you work. Once you put two cross-functional departments together or two interdisciplinary groups together, you're now building practices that allow them to be able to start thinking together. Interdisciplinary innovation is the holy grail of innovation. It is where we have the biggest innovation opportunities. If we start incredibly small with something as simple as building a powerful offer, what we're doing is we're laying the practices that will allow us to then be able to move into an innovation opportunity. Now again, think of the practices. I've made some of them very explicit, the same way you would as if you're teaching someone how to drive. Over time, those practices fall into the background and they actually become something that you do automatically and you don't necessarily pay a whole bunch of attention to, because now what you're paying attention to is you're paying attention to the business opportunities. You're paying attention to the innovation opportunities with another person or with another department or with another team. The ability to be able to focus on those, supported by the practices that you have spent 3, 6, 9, 12, 18 months developing yourself and with your team, allow you to be able to move into a space where you can start really beginning to identify where are innovation opportunities available to you. As you embark on this journey, and it is a journey because any place in life where you are seeking to build practices that you embody over a period of time is a journey. It takes time, it takes patience, it takes courage. As you start thinking about your innovation practices, and as you start thinking about your first offer, drop a comment for me in the comments below and let me know what is the first practice that you want to build for yourself that will allow you to move up the ladder of innovation capacity. I've done another video on this topic that I think that you might find valuable. It's called What's the Difference Between Innovation and Improvement? That'll help you think about this as you build out your innovation knowledge and innovation capacity. This is a fantastic journey to put yourself on. I really wish you the best of luck.